been in many indie films myself. I have friends who are indie film producers and directors, writers. So it really, it's close to my heart to be able to.
Yes, Victor and Stephanie. Thank you guys.
Hi guys, how are you?
All right, good,
Nice to have
thank
you
you.
here in the studio.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Pleasure
So-
having you.
Thank you.
Definitely. We've seen so much of your production, and I see that you have been doing this for a while.
Long time.
And you have a lot of
My hair was brown
experience.
when I started. Yeah. Before you were born, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, it's no secret. You know?
I was just about to say that. You took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. She's afraid, like, oh, they're going to find out we're old. They might not invite us here, you know.
No,
but
of course.
you know.
We're all getting older
Yeah.
every single day. That's the
Every
only thing-
second.
That's the only thing we can all count on, like aging and taxes or something.
Yeah.
I won't go to the death.
No,
hall
let's
because-
Yeah,
not.
it's okay. It's okay.
And our movie talk, that's one of the best things because, you know, we set a platform for independent filmmakers. And, you know, you guys are not rookies.
No.
You're not amateurs. So you have a lot of experience and a lot to share with us. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Why don't you go first, Steph?
Well, Vic, you should start because I think you have a very, very edgy and almost risque career.
Oh, we're scared.
Well,
now my
I
ears
started.
perked up.
Well, I started in in the '70s, and so it was a wild time. I started
New York City?
New York City,
Oh, 70s
West
in New York
44th
City
Street.
were a lot
Oh, it was
different.
great. Oh, you see Taxi Driver. I really feel like nostalgic when I see him driving up, and you know the whores and the prostitutes and the film.
I
and
actually,
it's just like
and like Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah, Midnight Cowboy is the
And
greatest film ever made.
I wasn't
Top
around,
3
but
best films
I
ever
saw
made.
that.
Yeah.
It is one of the best films
Yeah,
ever made. I agree.
I will only watch it when it comes back on a big screen, even though I want to watch it all the time. But anyway, so I started in exploitation films, working with a great distributor named Terry Levine of Chris Releasing. He did things like Women in Cell Block 7, Dr. Butcher MD, Medical Deviant, Sonny Chief of the Bodyguard. Yeah, I mean, it was all, you know, in those days, it was great stuff. I mean, I remember like one of my first, I was in the job and stuff like that, and my boss Simon of August Films takes me to 42nd Street, actually. He says, Terry wants to go see a film. We go in there, watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the first time I'd ever seen it, just opened and stuff like that. I'm sitting there in the theater going, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. This is like dynamite, and I'm like on the clock now, you know. So it was an interesting time. You know, we did the trailers, and sometimes they'd have these video boxes out in front of the theater on 42nd Street, and you'd stand out there with all of your characters, you know, assorted characters on 42nd Street, and you'd be watching it work with them, and they'd be, you know, it'd be kung fu movies and stuff like that, and they'd be like reacting to it, and it just was really, it was a very fertile time.
Well, it's interesting because I was talking to someone who was visiting from Toronto yesterday, and they were saying and the last time they'd been here was before 9/11, so it was like almost 15 years ago, and they were saying, and before then it was a long time before that, so they've been here twice, and they said that they were astounded at how much the city was, quote, cleaned up since the last time. So I'm just wondering if your films, like if
they
the
reflect.
progression, if they reflect that.
Actually, no. Maybe the films that I worked on as an editor, but the films that we've worked on producing
Documentaries.
Documentaries, not features. Feature documentaries. But I think there's more of a hope. The first film that we ever did was called Chasing a Dream. And I was thinking, actually, the other day, reflecting back on where we're at, and I feel like in some respects, even it was about minor league baseball players, and yet I felt that actually, you could say that about our career. I mean, we're chasing something. I don't know what it is.
And often our subjects reflect that
Yeah.
yearning and that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the underdog.
Yes.
Who
Yeah,
never gives up.
That's
Just
it.
never
That's
quits.
it.
I can relate to
Yeah.
that.
There
That's
you
kind of my
go.
life too.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be in one of your documentaries.
Well, you never know. I mean, you know, we just our friend Terry, who I mentioned before, said that we were cinematic junkyard dogs, and I think that I think that fits us. I mean, you know, we make movies, we don't make money. You know, and so we've gotten beaten up a lot. We almost lost our house making a film about a family that was homeless by choice. So we just kind of, I think that, you know, we're basically fueled by passion. That's, you know, I mean,
Fueled by passion. I
fueled
love
by
that. I mean,
passion.
definitely.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have an
Yeah.
offbeat
We-
take on things.
We do.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Another perspective. And you're from New York.
Yes.
Where?
Long Island, Baldwin, Long
Okay.
Island.
Okay.
I think Joey Bonifuco and Amy Fisher from that area. She grew up on Amityville, the horror. She knew the kid.
Oh, that's
Oh, let's
interesting.
not.
Let's not go there. Okay,
No.
well, I'll take it in another direction then. I'll pull it right back out. We'll pull right back out of the
I know
driveway.
what. I know what we can do. We were
We're not
talking
on
a little
Halloween
bit
segment.
about background. Okay, background.
Yes.
I was in the acting thing, and we met in an acting class, and I think
Oh.
that's
Oh,
a
wow.
fun fact,
Wonderful.
right?
Yeah.
I love that. That's the type of stuff I love.
Yeah.
And you're still together how many years later? I don't want to date you, but still.
We're together a long time. Our son is 31.
You do
I
the
think just
math.
turned 31. So
That's
so
nice.
that's
Congratulations.
That's the
Yeah.
nice part of
Yeah.
this story.
I don't know
love
how
that.
you
I love
guys did it
stories
for
like
so
that.
long in entertainment.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
amazing. And she
do
went
you
out
hear-
with me because I was a terrible actor.
Oh, he
I
was
was
the
horrible.
worst.
I was doing the Rain Man, like soliloquy, whatever.
Oh,
Miserable.
God, he
just butchered
shouted
it.
the whole
Yeah,
thing. He
terrible,
shouted
terrible,
it.
Terrible. Yeah.
Okay, we've
But,
established that our
But I'm a much
credentials.
better actor now. I was in some low-budget film playing a really like crummy producer, and I was excellent at it. Yeah.
Well,
In the moment, just being in the moment,
I
right?
was,
In the
yeah,
part,
Yeah. Well,
a
I guess
crummy
I've seen
producer.
people like that, so I was able to channel it. Yeah.
You know, I wanted
Shannon
to
was good.
say, listening to you and being born New York native of myself.
Me
and
too. So-
Loving the history in the 70s in filmmaking and the movies that was so much different. Even still, we had black and white movies, we had silent movies, and we had 24-hour movie theaters up in 42nd Street and
Yeah.
stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah, you could go
and now
there.
we don't have that, and it costs a lot more to go to
Oh,
the
yeah.
movies. And New York is
Definitely.
extremely expensive to film movies, and then we're not really doing movies in New York as much as we used to. They're going now to the West Coast, you know?
I'll tell you,
And-
like a great day like I had
Yeah.
cutting high school. We came into 42nd Street, and it's like 65 cents a film.
Exactly.
You know, and so we go see, me and my buddies go see Arizona Bushwhackers, which is a film nobody ever heard of, but it was playing along with Kool and Luke.
Yes.
And then when that was done, we went to see Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Wow.
And then when that was done, I forget, we went to see a third, we just spend a day, and it was like, you know what, like less than $2. And we could spend like 6 or 7, 8 hours in the movies. We just go from one theater to the next, you know, just like walk out of one. And it was just, it was a great.
It was excellent.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
was a great time.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
it's
like really
amazing.
going to the movies.
Imagine a movie, like a whole family going to a movie. It's like $100. Like
Oh,
two
yeah.
people is like almost $50.
You gotta get
Just
this-
Popcorn,
some
right?
Popcorn
Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
You better
Yeah.
get a Stubbs reward card.
I'll take one.
Exactly. And also, like, you know, when I listen to a lot of indie producers, directors, writers, you know, from everything, from being photographers, the freelance from before, you know, we're airbrushing and doing everything more manually. Everything is so high tech and is really based on a computer.
Right.
So from back in the 70s when you were in the
all film.
business
It's all film.
to now has
Oh.
it's changed so much, right?
Well, it's changed. I mean, listen, the one way that it's good that it's changed. The way is because you get like a little company like us. And now, because the equipment is much less expensive, you can get an editing equipment that's much less expensive. We can go out and produce stuff, and
Exactly.
even doing stuff for Bravo with with a budget. But because we could cut in the house, and not rent an edit room, and all that stuff, it just
Exactly. That's
makes
true.
everything more.
That's
In the
true.
old days, I mean,
you could work at home.
you'd have to raise money just to get your film developed in the lab. And a lot of films died because they just couldn't even get them out of the lab. So now, you shoot, you're ready, you got your film right there. So
Exactly.
that's the biggest change that's positive. But
true.
the hell with the negative. That's the biggest
Yeah,
change
it
that's
is the positive that
Yeah.
is. It's like a token to to digital from a negative.
So what's your dream project? What would you, I mean, you're talking about documentaries, like what's the thing that you would want to
God.
capture on film that you have not done in all these years?
Oh, that's a great question. Do you have an answer? I mean,
I almost feel like we sort of have covered a lot of bases,
Sounds that
from
way.
homeless by choice and building rafts to cross the Atlantic. Great artists, Mr. Duvall, Cyndi Lauper.
yeah, that was,
Oh, I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about Cyndi Lauper. I don't want to get off the topic, but I saw her. in
Yes.
one of-
Yes.
What was it like working with Robert Duvall and Cyndi Lauper? Amazing.
Wonderful
just legendary,
experience.
great.
Oh my Lord! Yeah,
yeah.
totally
She was on
different
Girls Just
people.
Wanna Have Fun.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And she does, and she is, and she's really, really approachable and human, and
Funny.
no pretenses, funny as hell.
Yeah, very smart.
I used
Yeah,
to imitate her on the
Yeah.
song "We Are the World." You know that little clip she
Yeah.
had. I was like, "Hey!"
Yeah. Don't let that voice fool you.
I know,
mean,
she's great.
incredibly
Those pipes.
smart.
She's great.
Wow.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about the profiles that we did for Bravo was that they, instead of paint by number their life, they basically was looking at the creative process. We could tell their life story, just in bits and pieces, but it was really watching these great artists create.
And how they
So,
do it.
Yeah, and
how
how
they
do
approach
it.
their work.
Yeah, yeah, and so that was quite interesting. I mean, Duvall is a tango fanatic. And we went down to Argentina to shoot down there with him. And on the set, he'd written a movie about a hitman who was into the tango. And so
Assassination Tango.
Yeah,
Watch that.
Tango is a very private, quiet, interior dance. And on the outside should be quiet too. So it becomes very personal. As styles are personal, so the feelings are personal. They would say it goes from the heart to the head to the feet. Some days it goes great. Some days it doesn't. It's like a live performance you do on Broadway or off Broadway, a play. When it goes well, it's a certain feel that's very special.
It's just us.
You know, I always knew I have to dance a tango in order to keep my relationship with Bobby.
He was truly electrifying.
He really only played at one level, which is 110%.
He wasn't satisfied till he almost would physically fall down. You know, you could literally take his T-shirt or shirt or whatever he wore and his jeans and run the water out of it with sweat. He'd just drenched with sweat.
A lot of Act 47 songs, a certain amount of them were influenced by Yeats, so like Fanatic Heart. He probably wrote it, or he may have written it in this area around here.
Won't let me make a new start.
It's also here in this yard beneath these stones many people are buried.
My fanatic heart. Where we go because it fuss. Make me like our 70s us. Gonna out of hell. Little bit of heaven. Start.
Somebody hasn't heard the band and they say describe it. It's like
Marching down a color street in a starry plowing island. Ghosts in an army with their fist raised in the sky.
This is the kind of band that appeals to people who like some meat on the bone when it comes to rock and roll.
Some songs of freedom.
1 hour is showtime. It's opening night for the Flying Neutrinos. Provincetown's only vaudeville act.
We are a group of people who are an example that you can take nothing and make something great, and that anybody can do that, you know, because we really come from nothing. Nothing.
How high was that big one that knocked him to the side?
The first big storm that we had, we started seeing 20-foot waves. I admit that I was totally terrified.
My God, I couldn't believe I was finally spent all this time mounting an expedition into the North Atlantic. I was here, and I was just absolutely stone terrified. We went out and started our own circus. So we had a deaf ninja.
I like to pound people at first. Or I like to come out kind of coy and have people settle down and go, uh-huh. And then pounce on them like a cat. Pow, pow, pow. One after the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. Can you breathe? Okay, well, breathe. Okay, and now you breathe and get a little... Okay, here we go.
it's not on there, we should mention is Everything Is Forever, the film that we actually just completed, but we cut the reel before we put that in, about a Croatian musician, and we followed him for 15 years, and it's now on the
That's how we
festival
roll
circuit
at Home
and-
Team.
Right,
Home team production.
Yeah, we
for
did,
the home team.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff for a long time. Now we're working on a film about Black 47, which we've also been shooting for 15 years. Yeah, so we kind of, you know, it's funny. It's like Francois Truffaut. I once read that he said, "You're never done with the film; they just take it away from you. But when you're an independent, you're really not answering to anybody. There's nobody to take it away from you.
Exactly.
So
you
we
keep
just
following
kind of
your
like we
passion,
just
see where it
do
leads.
exactly. And then at some point,
Yeah.
you know, with multiple projects, one is like kind of like, okay, it's time to focus on this, and let's cut this, and you know. And that's it.
So it's like you can shelf something for a while and then come back to it.
Yeah,
You know,
we just
a
do
nice
think-
natural ebb and flow in your life.
Yeah, so we've
following
been
that
to like things, you know, multiple, you know, just shooting things, you know, saying different projects, but at the same time, and just putting it away until like it's time for like, you know, to pick it off the tree somehow and figure out what the hell we
It's
have.
visceral,
Yeah.
you know. It's
Yeah.
organic.
I love the tango scene. That was great. The tango is
so
such a
beautiful.
romantic, beautiful
I know.
dance.
A little side note is that Luciana, who is now Mr. Duvall's wife, at one point in an interview said that, I knew I'd have to dance the tango to be with Bobby.
Yeah, we dance
she
in
learned it,
elevators
and she's an
wherever.
expert.
He built on his in Virginia in the profile. We go down to Virginia, and he's got a barn that he converted into a tango. You know, just like we're a dance floor.
And he has his parties there too.
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
yeah,
that's
and so
nice.
yeah, his birthday
That's
I think is around New Year's Eve, so they have like big parties. But they pretty much practice tango almost on a daily basis, maybe on a daily basis. I mean, he loves to dance.
I love
Yeah.
that clip too, how you got them out on the, you showed how they, on the boat, she was saying we came from nothing, but they got to see the world.
They did.
It was pretty
They
awesome.
did.
Absolutely.
They did.
Way to see the world.
Yeah, let me tell you something about Papa, just because he was homeless. And so here's a guy who's homeless for his entire life and does all this crazy stuff and dies with no money in his pocket. When he died, his obituary, with big article, obituary in the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post. That's the irony of this whole thing. That just
That's what
goes
this
to
is
show
all
you.
about.
Yeah.
Wrapping up, this is what it's all about. It all comes full circle. And it's all about doing what we love to do and following our passions.
And everybody has a story to be told.
Perfect.
Viewers that
Thank
are
you.
looking to get in touch with Victor and Stephanie.
Anytime we talk to anybody.
with Home Team Production.
This has been fascinating.
Yeah, this
It's
has
been
been great.
such a pleasure.
Great.
We
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it very
Thank
much.
you for
We
inviting
do
us.
appreciate the
And we look forward to
platform.
having you guys come back,
Yeah.
bring me another exciting
Okay.
trailer.
Anytime.
Alrighty.
Some updates.
Well, we got plenty of stuff up our sleeves. You
I
know,
won't
so-
have this time, probably next time.
I'll wear the antlers next
Carrie,
time.
they're what we call what? The Renegades.
The Renegades.
The Renegades.
All right, I like
the
that.
veteran Renegades.
I like that.
We'll
That's
take
good.
it.
We'll take it.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thanks a
So
lot.
we're renegades. We're
Yeah.
movie renegades.
At Movie Talk.
Yes, we are.
www.movietalk.un. Also, another good thing about Movie Talk, we support indie.
I love supporting indie. I've been in many indie films myself. I have friends who are indie film producers and directors, writers. So it really, it's close to my heart to be
You're
able
also
to
still doing your